Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I'm Casey, and today I will be making a very quick, easy stretch bracelet. The bracelet with the wooden beads right here is the one I will be making in this tutorial. But as you can see, the technique that I will be using in this video can definitely be used for an absolute variety of beads, only limited by your imagination. So, as you can see, the choices are kind of endless. This is one of my favorite style of bracelets to make. Very quick, very simple, and very fun to add the different little charms. And it just kind of adds a little bit of flair to a bracelet that would be cute on its own, but it just gives it a little something when you add the charms to it. So if you would like to see how this wooden bracelet right here came about, then stay tuned. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to quickly go through what I will be using, and then I will be making this stretch bracelet. And of course, I will be including some charms. So one of the first things and most important things in a stretch bracelet is elastic cord. And what I am using is this Create crystal string, and I'm using the clear color. I purchased this from bbcraft.com, and it came as a bundle of two, where I purchased the black and the clear. And one thing about ordering from bbcraft, if you are here in the United States, is just definitely allow time. I want to say this took about a month to get to me, but it is, in my opinion, it was worth it because as you can see, you get a ton. I've already used quite a bit in both colors and I still have quite a bit left. So for this one, I will be using the clear, and I have cut a little over 12 inches of elastic cord. So I will be using some 8mm wooden beads for this, and I have a mixture of color. I will link below everything that I can, and I can definitely link below these wooden beads. I absolutely love the kind of natural shades to these. I will be using 19 of the 8mm wooden rounded beads, and then I will be using 2 of the 6mm rounded. And these will be part of the charms that are hanging off. And some of the, 2 of the charm holders that I will be using have an engraved design in them. These will be linked below as well. I really like that design. And then I have 2 different connector pieces. One is a circular kind of swirly pattern, and this is more of a flower pattern. I will be using 4 bead caps that have this flower pattern on them. So the first thing I do when I make a stretch bracelet is I go ahead and kind of stretch the cord ahead of time before I put any beads on it, anything like that. I just kind of go down and pull it a little bit, give it a nice little tug in each little section, kind of pre-stretching, if you will. All right, so now, the one thing about a stretch bracelet is that you don't have to factor in any closings or clasps or anything like that. The length of the bracelet will be just the beads, because it's going to be entirely the beads in the length. There will be no clasps or anything. So I am going to be using one of my bead bugs at the end so that the beads don't fall off the other end. And I will be using my super gel Gorilla Glue, super glue gel. There are different types of Gorilla Glue, and the gel is does work well with jewelry making. All right, so I will quickly string all of these beads on here, or I will string half, and then I will put one of the holders on here. I will be grabbing these at random. The only thing I will be looking at is I don't want two of the same colors touching each other. So here is a good opportunity for the tool that I got, this awl. It actually pokes out if you have any kind of blockage in one of your beads. You can stick it through there and it will open up that bead so it can be strung. So I'm going to put, since I'm using 19, and obviously that is an odd number, so it doesn't divide evenly, but I will put 9 on here, and then I will put the charm holder. All right, so as you can see, I have 9 beads on here at random. So now I will be putting one of my charm holders, just like that, stringing it on there just like a bead, and then I will put the rest. All right, so now I have the other half of beads on there. I'm gonna go ahead and put the other charm holder. So now, when you measure it out, and it looks like I am all the way up to 8 inches. So I definitely do not want my bracelet to be that long. So what I'm going to do is very simply just take off one bead. All right. So then when I put my charm holder on there, now that brings me down to 7.5 inches. So that is a good length for my bracelets. So now I'm going to take off the bead bug, and I'm going to kind of move them down where I have ends on either side. So here is how I close them off. I do a basic tie to begin with, just left over right, and then I bring it in, just like that. Now the second time that I tie it, and for me, I like to have the knot right next to an opening like this, a charm holder or a wide hole bead, because I can kind of slide that knot and the glue underneath that to hide it. So I have the basic leftover right tie to begin with. Now this second time, I'm going to bring this string over once and then over a second time. So this time around, I have leftover right 2 times. And I'm going to pull it pretty snug. Now I'm not pulling it with all my strength because obviously most of us could just kind of snap this off, but I am pulling it pretty snug. Be careful about going in there with my nails too. So I'm going to pull it pretty snug. And then now I'm going to take my glue, shake it up. So now I'm going to hold these apart with one hand. I'm holding the bead, the closest bead with this hand and the closest bead with this hand, and the charm cover is loose so that I can put that over the knot. So I have that knot out there, the loose charm holder, and I'm holding each of the beads all with one hand. I have my fine point cutters that I'm going to be using here in just a second to cut off the tails. So first things first, I'm going to go in there with my gel super glue, and I'm going to cover that knot. You don't want to use too much, but I do want to kind of use a healthy amount, get both sides of that knot, saturate it pretty well. Now I'm going to go in there, cut off that tail, cut off that tail. Then I'm going to slide that cover over the knot, just like that. Then I can let that go. And now it's covered. So now the actual bracelet part of it is finished. But we are now going to add the charms. And I will have my fine point cutters linked below. I just purchased recently a new pair, and I am pretty happy with them. All right. So for each one of my charms, I'm going to use a pin, a ballpoint pin like this, and I'm going to be using my round nose pliers to make my loops. So I'm going to have a bead cap facing up, one of my small beads, the 6mm round, and then I'm going to have the bead cap facing down, just like this. So now, the way I make my loops, I'm going to use my round nose pliers, and I'm going to go in just above where the top bead cap is. So it's going to look just like that. Now I'm going to bend it. And I don't have a specific degree of angle or anything like that. I just sort of bend the top of it. Then I bend it back around with my fingers, just like that. And then when I take that off, it starts a really nice loop. I'm going to hold the tail of that pen with my fingers down here. I'm going to go up in that loop with my fine point cutters, cut that tail off. You want to hold on to it or it will go flying. And then at this point, you can just go in there with your round nose pliers and close the loop. Just like that. So now we have our first component, and we're going to take our second pin, bead cap facing up, 6mm wood bead, bead cap facing down, just like this. And we're going to make the loop the exact same way. So put it right above, bend it back with our fingers. And now we go in there with our fine point cutters, hang on to it. And then go in there with our round nose pliers and close that loop. So now we have both of our charm components, and we are going to now just connect everything with our jump rings. So I'm going to use 2 sets of my chain nose pliers. So I'm going to hold at one end, open the jump ring, put our component on one side, and put the connector like that. And then close that jump ring. So now we have one of the charms. Now we'll connect the other one, get another jump ring, open it, put the component on one side, other connector, close that jump ring. So now we have both of our charms, and we're going to connect our charms to the bracelet. Open the jump ring, connect the bracelet, the charm holder, and then the charm. Just like that, close the jump ring. So now we have one. Open the other jump ring. Put the connector on it just like that. And then connect the other charm holder. And close the jump ring just like that. So there we have our bracelet with the 2 charms. And I like to let it dry a little bit before I pull it too much, but you can see it's already stretching pretty well. So you can see the stretch bracelet with the charms kind of hanging off and dangling there. All right, so now I'm going to put this on the display so you can see it just a little bit better. Here we go. As you can see, here is the bracelet, the wooden beads that we made in this video, right here in the front. I added it to the display of several other bracelets that I have made in this style. As you can see, this is a very quick, easy, simple bracelet to make that, you know, you could use with any variety of beads, from round beads to bicone beads to, you know, long cylinder type beads, square beads. I mean, it's just basically whatever you like and whatever you would like to put. So like I said earlier, I will definitely link below several of the things that I used today to create this bracelet and some of the things that you see with these other bracelets. I will also link below. So I will thank you in advance if you use any of those links. It definitely helps this channel out quite a bit. So thank you very, very much. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, as well as unboxings, other different inspiration, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading your comments. You guys are so kind. It is truly one of the best parts of my day to read the comments that I received, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.